Imagine the sheer relief of families waiting years for their loved ones to come home. But at what cost? This heartwarming yet complex story unfolds in the Middle East, where a major step toward peace in Gaza has just taken place. 7 Israeli hostages, mostly everyday civilians, have been freed by Hamas as part of a groundbreaking peace agreement facilitated by the Trump administration. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this a genuine path to lasting peace? Or just a temporary pause in a long-running conflict? Stick around to dive into the details. You might be surprised by what most people overlook about the human toll and the tough choices involved. On a bright Monday morning, the release kicked off just before President Trump's arrival in Israel, where he was on a diplomatic mission to solidify his vision for peace in Gaza. This wasn't random timing. It was all tied to a carefully negotiated deal aimed at bringing calm to the region. Why does this matter so much? These hostages had been trapped in Gaza for over 2 years, enduring unimaginable hardships. Their freedom was a non-negotiable demand from Israel and the United States to halt the ongoing war. A war sparked by Hamas's brutal October 7th attacks in 2024, which left deep scars on both sides. Let's zoom in on how this unfolded. Under the agreement, Hamas was required to free all 20 living hostages by noon local time on that day. The first batch of 7 was handed over shortly after 8 a.m., transferred safely to the Red Cross. From there, they were delivered to Israeli forces right inside Gaza. The remaining 13 are slated for release at 10 a.m., with everyone headed to a military base just outside the Gaza Strip for emotional reunions with their families. After that, they'll be whisked to hospitals in Israel for much-needed medical care. Picture this. These hostages spent the majority of their captivity in dark, underground tunnels, surviving on scant food and water, with virtually no treatment for injuries sustained during those horrific attacks. Israeli officials are bracing for the worst, fearing many could be in dire health after such deprivation. A sobering reminder of the human cost of conflict that often gets buried in headlines about politics. And this is the part most people miss. The deal doesn't stop at the living. Hamas also agreed to recover the remains of 28 deceased hostages, including 2 Americans, Itai Chen and Omer Nutra. During talks, Hamas admitted to uncertainties about exact locations. Some bodies might be under rubble from bombs or guarded by militants who perished in the fighting. To tackle this, a multinational team has been formed to pool intelligence and conduct searches within Gaza. For newcomers to this story, think of it like a high-stakes treasure hunt in a war zone, where every clue could bring closure to grieving families. But where the search itself risks reigniting tensions. On the flip side, Israel is making concessions too. In exchange for the hostages' release, they'll free 250 Palestinian prisoners serving life sentences in Israeli jails. Nearly all of those in that category, barring a couple dozen. Plus, about 1,700 Palestinians detained by Israeli forces in Gaza since October 7th will be let go. But here's the kicker. Israel drew a firm line, refusing to release any Hamas members involved in the attacks, or a handful of symbolic figures, like Hamas military leader Ibrahim Hamed, or former West Bank Fatah chief Marwan Barghouti. This selective approach raises eyebrows. Is it a necessary safeguard for security, or a roadblock to true reconciliation? Critics might argue it's unfair, prioritizing Israel's narrative over Palestinian perspectives, while supporters see it as protecting national interests. For more on this unfolding drama, check out these Axios pieces. Trump announces the end of the Gaza war. Trump's proposed summit of world leaders on Gaza during his Egypt visit. Trump's take to Axios. This Gaza deal could be his greatest achievement yet. In the end, this hostage swap feels like a beacon of hope in a sea of despair. But it also begs big questions. Do you think this deal truly bridges divides? Or does it just kick the can down the road? Is Trump's involvement a masterstroke of diplomacy or a gamble that could backfire? And what about those excluded prisoners? Does holding on to them perpetuate the cycle of violence? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with Israel's refusals, or see a controversial counterpoint here that deserves more debate? Share your take, and let's keep the conversation going.